Hi guys, welcome back to another Call of Duty Mega Construx unboxing review video. So up today we have the new Call of Duty Mega Construx Heavy Tactical Cargo Truck. The set includes 643 pieces. This was, I think, initially came out late 2018, but they're hitting shelves 2019, early in 2019. I was in my local Fry's Electronics. It's just kind of similar to a Best Buy. Saw this in there this weekend and of course had to pick it up. So it's retailing right now for $49.99. I don't have tax in my neck of the woods, so I don't know how much that would be for tax. The rest of you guys. So right off the bat, let's take a look at the packaging. The display art on the front. It's a big box, so it's not all going to sit in the frame. But really nice box art, like always. Mega Construx always does a really good job with just the box art. So this is kind of displaying the idea that you can actually remove the cargo, like the troop transport area, and put one of the cargo containers on there. And then some of their sets in the line, the accessories included, and the troops. So right off the bat, we'll take a look at the vehicle itself. So I'm not super savvy with what this is supposed to actually be replicating. It looks like a deuce to me, but I could be completely wrong about that. So probably the coolest thing about this set that I really liked about it was the actually transport area. So very similar to the half track that came out a few years back on their Legends line. It's, you know, they use the brown 1x8s, and they have two different rows of them. So it's about like 1x16s all the way down. So you can hold a lot of troops in the back of the area right here, or just equipment or whatever else you want to throw back there. The tailgate comes down and up. They have a mesh material surrounding the entire canopy, and this is kind of basically held in place by these, you know, the rod systems right here. There's 4 of them in place that kind of clip in to kind of keep that shape. And then, you know, besides that, that's about it. And they use like the 1x4s paneling from right here, and it's just basically, you know, plated on from the sides. And it looks really nice. It's a good use of their parts that they have to kind of maximize that space. Another thing that's really cool about the set is, you know, Mega again has been doing a really good job of just kind of that extra effort for attention to detail. And so their undercarriage of the truck is, again, that same level of standard, like very standard, very nice quality for, you know, their undercarriages to have the fuel tanks and the whatever that is. I'm not a huge, you know, vehicle guy, so I don't know a whole lot about what that's supposed to represent, but it's very nice, and I appreciate the attention to detail. So the front of the cab, it's got really nice windows from right here, a nice little built-up area with the grill. The engine compartment actually opens up onto the vehicle, so you can actually have, if you want to have guys, you know, whether they're working on the engine area or, you know, what have you. It's really nice because the passenger, like the passenger compartment for the, you know, the driving section flips all the way up, and then it clips in place. One thing, I don't know if you guys can see it too well on camera, but it's not a super flush fit, which just kind of drives me a little bit crazy. The other kind of cool thing about this, let me see if I can get it again. There is a window section right here, so, you know, you can look into the engine compartment area if you want before actually bringing the entire thing down to open it. But that's pretty much just held on by a like a one by one peg area that allows the thing to move up and down freely. So it's an interesting, to say the least, way of getting it to work. I think the concept of it probably is a lot smoother than it actually is in the you know, transportation of actually doing it. I don't know if it's just the quality of parts or whatnot, but, you know, having this kind of thing, it doesn't necessarily move super smooth. Besides that, the doors, so these are similar to the Humvee doors that they had on that the newer version Humvee that's in green a few years back, but opens up into a 2-person compartment area. And then I'll show you the other little thing that they have going on there after looking. And right there. So it's a very tight passenger compartment. You can get 2 soldiers in here. It is not an easy thing to do, and I haven't been able to get them in there perfectly, so this is going to be kind of one of those things where I imagine I will be having guys pretty much model outside of it. They have an extra tire in place with kind of a, some kind of, mechanism to hold it in place. Probably one of the cooler things about this that I actually enjoy is the hatch up top. So you can have, there's space in here for an extra soldier to stand. Like there's I don't know if you guys can see it from the inside, but there's that 1x4 peg between the 2 seats. And that's meant to basically have a soldier stand. Oh, well, that came off. Came off a little bit early. But there's a section for a soldier to stand in that 1x4 area, so if they need to be shooting outside this compartment, they can, which is pretty nice. A pretty nice little, extra with the set. I don't think that's accurate to the actual military model of the vehicle that they're going after, but I could be wrong on that. And then this section does remove, a part of it does remove independently, so you can actually get into the cargo container. And that just basically clips on by those 3 studs, and then it sits in place like so, all closed up. So as you can see, the passenger compartment has been removed from the rear section of it. So that's basically being held up by 6 studs. So the 2 in the back right here, and there's these 2x2 on the other side from right here. So you can have, if you have any other cargo containers or anything like that, it will sit flush on this. It works pretty well. The only gripe that I have with this style of method for what they're doing is it is a pain in the butt to get the passenger compartment, this sucker, to sit on here. So once you have this section removed from right here, you have the engine compartment. There is, you have a section of about 8 studs that are held up, and they're built up pretty high by themselves with no support. There's no support from the passenger compartment or like that. So a lot of times this ends up getting removed. You have to remove the engine compartment before getting the passenger compartment placed in. So there's a lot of unnecessary taking apart, I guess, of the model to get everything to sit into place. Besides that, I guess that would probably be my biggest gripe of the set, is kind of the execution. Some of the tire HUDs, or the hubcaps, have constantly been removing, which is another kind of pain in the butt about the set. But it's not enough to, I guess, discourage myself from, suggesting this set. So we'll take a look at the figures. A lot of these are kind of just repaints of soldiers that we've already had. There's nothing really special here. So the first one we'll take a look at is just a very simple mold that we have. This is our soldier with a helmet. He's got brown fatigues, black boots. He's got one of those, what is that, like an ACR type rifle with one of the new muzzle firing attachments to simulate that firing. The one thing I will say about this, and I'll turn the head over here so you can see it, the paint application on this figure, it's just absolutely terrible. And I haven't really been having this problem with my figures for a few years. So it almost seems like, since Mattel has they bought out Mega, the quality for their micro action figures has definitely gone down the drain. And that's really a disappointment, because I collect a lot of these figures. I like these figures. And it seems like just time and time again, there's more of these problems coming up. The next figure that we have, again, nothing really standard, or nothing out of just the standard figures that we've had. So we've seen this head mold, we've seen everything on this figure. I think this is the first time we've gotten that new tactical vest though, in that dark brown, which does look pretty nice. There is a grenade as well as one of those older style pouches for the vest. He's got one of those kind of AK variants with, again, the muzzle firing attachments to the muzzle, which looks pretty good. That one's a little more built up, so that's got the 2 of them in place together. No backpack, and then instead of having that tactical belt, he's got the extra portion of his lapels, or of his fatigues coming down. Probably the highlight of the set for the micro action figures would be the mercenary figure right here. So we don't get a whole lot of these white t-shirts. And so that was definitely kind of a cool thing to get out of this. So he's got that white t-shirt with the short sleeves. So he's got his arms, shown out with black gloves. He's got tan pants with black boots on. He comes with a knife. He's got one of those Chris Vectors, which are those are probably one of my favorite guns they have out of the wave for these figures. He's got the backwards cap, and he does have one of the modular heads. So his cap does get, you can remove it if you want. But besides that, yeah, I would say this is probably my favorite figure out of the set. And then we have the supply drop. There's not a lot of parts that come with this, so you have the extra RPG that comes in here, and then the 2 backpacks, one in tan, and then one in a dark brown. So that is everything that's included in the set. If you think that I would like to talk about with this set regarding just quality and everything else like that. So Mega has definitely been, within the last couple of years, it almost seems since Mattel has gotten the line, they haven't been making a whole lot of Call of Duty lined, like, larger vehicles. It's definitely been harder to find the sets coming out, Target's not carrying them. Pretty much since Toys R Us also went down, it's been kind of really difficult to find these sets, and you're finding them at kind of rare, random places to get these sets that are actually carrying them. So the distribution issue, I would have to say, is absolutely terrible in 2019. You're still trying to find these on eBay or Amazon as your best guess, or your best bet for it. The construction of the vehicle itself, the cargo truck, it was pretty decent, with the minor frustrations of not having the passenger compartment sitting flush, where you're seeing that noticeable gap right there from where the passenger compartment goes up to get to the engine block. Is frustrating. It's a little bit annoying, but I can live with it because there's a lot of other really good stuff about the set. I think probably my biggest gripe is the quality of the micro action figures. So I have been collecting Mega Construx, the Call of Duty lines, back in 2013 when they first were released, back when the first sets. The plastics they use for these figures are different. It's more almost like a rubberish type of plastic. So they tend to break easier, like the ball joints on the neck where you actually attach the heads. There's been times where they'll have plastic coming down where the head itself has too much plastic, so it won't sit on the head right, or it'll break the ball joint on it. The joints are a lot more loose. It's just the quality of the micro action figures has definitely gone down, and that's probably one of the biggest disappointments that I was really hoping that would change. I was kind of hoping that was just kind of a rare instance with a few of the older sets back 2017, 2018 timeframe, but it looks like it's continuing now, which is a pretty big disappointment, to be honest, with Mega Construx, and it's really frustrating for collectors and not having good quality, because I like to get a lot of these figures. I'll army build, I'll also do a lot of customizations, but I've typically, and lately, I have not been, buying duplicates of the newer sets. I've been trying to track down older sets where the micro action figures and the plastics and the quality of the figures have been a lot better. So with that said, would I recommend the set? Absolutely. The cargo truck is pretty darn cool. This is a really nice addition to any collector sets, especially, because the idea is you have such a huge compartment to be able to house a lot of your troops. So that's a really cool thing. This is one of the, for most of the vehicles that the Call of Duty line has, you'll be able to fit 2, 3, 4 figures. You're not really seeing a vehicle that has that transport capability. So that's really nice to be able to have that method right there. The firearms included they're nothing new. They're just kind of duplicates of what we've already seen. It is nice to get a lot more of the new muzzle attachments for the weapons. So if you're doing stop motions, this is a good way to get them. A little disappointed that there's not a whole lot of accessories included. Again, I don't know if it's just Mega or Mattel trying to save money. We used to get a lot more accessories for our sets. We're just not getting them anymore. So that's a bit of a disappointment. But I do like the dark brown tactical vest that I don't think we've seen before. I think that's the first time we've seen it in that color. So that's really cool. Really like the mercenary figure. Besides that, guys, I don't have a whole lot else to say about it. If you guys did find the set, if you guys find it at local retailers, definitely leave a comment. Let us know where you're actually getting them from, because for me, at least in my neck of the woods, it's pretty darn hard finding these. If you guys liked the video, please leave a like. If you're not subscribed, think about subscribing. I try to put out videos as frequently as possible when these sets come out. Besides that, guys, I hope you have a great day and catch you next time. Bye.